We believe that ugly people like them are more importantly people over being ugly. So if you watch the semifinals, you know that the same things will happen. Same people will be made fun of and ibig. Same people, the same topics will actually be talked about. So this debate is about two things. The first is the extension of existing rights in order to fully protect ugly individuals. And second is the protection of the value of self-determination, which we think Vic wants to happen at the end of the day. We believe on the first level that a lot of debaters will be helped because of a policy that we will forward. Let's talk about Lady Gogo, Arnold Bugoy, one person on that, Kenneth Cortado, and a lot more people. And we think, ladies and gentlemen, opening opposition will find it hard to clash with the motion, especially that we will be defending them in this debate. There is a five-prong policy coming from the opening government when we talk about legal protection. The first is in the cases of sexual assault, such as rape, there is a lighter burden of proof for an ugly individual in filing a case. We think it's highly reasonable if Carlos Hernandez or Arnold Bugoy, or I don't know your name, but your name for our friend, circle friend is actually Rihanna, will go to a policeman and say, nirape ako. Bakit paan ka lang ng mga policemen, di ba? But second of all, we think that if the ugly person, such as Carlos, is the perpetrator of rape, being ugly should be a mitigating circumstance. Because we think that the right to sexual determination, or at least to experience sex big, is something that should be accorded to an individual. The third is, in order to protect the long-term job security of Vic and Carlos in the future, assuming that they were able to finish education, we will take away the requirement of placing personality plus good looks to be waitresses and to be actually part of the cashiers of any institution. So there will be job security for all of the corporations. There will be quotas for ugly people. The fourth is, and this is specifically for the debate community, for the ad score of the next NTCs, there should be one ugly person to represent a portion of the community. We think that in the next NTC, Rene should be a part of the ad score. Lastly, when we talk about this policy, we have to take a look at the long term. We also want these people to have to be proud of their lineage, for example. So the fifth and most important part of our argument is that there will be state-sponsored sex experiences or copulation with foreigners. Because we think that the only way for us to correct those genes is to actually look at the foreigners in having it. We talk about legal protection as the only equalizer if you are ugly. But if you want to raise a POI, wala, okay. So, okay, if Arnold Bugoy is ugly, basta magkamukha kayo ng to the first argument, legal protection as the only equalizer. There are two reasons why people are actually ugly. First is that according to Carlos, the reason why Vic is ugly is because he was born this way. So don't be a drab, just be a queen. They didn't consent to being ugly. They did not consent to having ugly parents. They didn't consent to have their genes to be that way. But second of all, let's talk about environment. And Arnold, I hope we're still friends after this. Look at Arnold. What is the environment around him? For example, in Zamboanga, and the dominant narrative is that it's a dangerous place. So we think Arnold has been caught in the crossfires of death. As a matter of fact, someone from the debate community says if he donated a portion of his income to Arnold, that person will not forget him forever. So we think that affirmative action should be given in order for you to realize that point. What is the point of the first premise? They cannot do anything because of the historical, because of the past mistakes of parents have been ugly and stuff like that. And they are unwanted by societies. We think that, for example, the reason why Carlos looks that way is because his mom wanted to support him, or that Rene looks like that and his fashion sense is always at loss because he wasn't guided as a child, he was unwanted, and he said na iniwan siya sa ampunan. We think that the reason why they are oppressed by societies right now is because of the older generation's imposition of a particular lifestyle that has boxed them. for closing government. Number one, usually, we think, ladies and gentlemen, that it imposes a glass ceiling. For example, if you have if you're an adjudicator, if your room is full of beautiful and handsome people, and then you have opening opposition, will you more likely to listen to their speech? You can say, dismiss na natin yan. I didn't really understand what they said. Maybe they're irrelevant in the debate. I know these people are brilliant debaters, but we think that their faces make it hard for them to have anything more than a master's final. Yes.
If that's true, why are you still in the finals?
That joke is actually not funny because the reason why we're proposing this is also to protect our own interests. So if you're happy, I don't care, but I'm winning this debate against you. So we think, ladies and gentlemen, that let's take a look at the different phases of ugly. For example, the rich, ugly people, the rich, bad, ugly people are actually compensated by the nature of their economic purchasing capacity. So there is still social mobility, which isn't afforded to Carlos and Vic. So we think, ladies and gentlemen, for example, pagod ka na, bakla ka pa, debater ka pa, people won't be able to appreciate you. What is the grounding of the argument? We think that the state looks at rights in parcels. The reason why you have rights collectively practiced is in order for you to maximize the array of choices that is offered. But we think if the non-expansion of rights lead to the limitation of choices, for example, not being able to access jobs, not being able to have sex, not being able to win a master's finals, for example, we think that the state must intervene and to protect your own interests. Especially that we've proven that they are capable, they are good individuals, that they can be, they can forward something good to society. We are very proud to stand for ugly people who deserve something more. Opening government, kahit napangan sila din, should win this master's final.